Hey guys, welcome back to the Bull Combo. Today we're going to be doing an update on the Planet tank. It's been just about a month since the last update on it, and there's been a lot of changes. Before I get started, I just want to let you guys know, if you hang out to the end of the video, I'll give you guys a bit of advice on exactly how I attacked my brown algae diatom problem that I had in the tank. Probably around the start of the last video, I started experiencing some brown algae and diatom buildup on the back of the tank, and specifically on my wisteria. And so if you hang out to the end of the video, I'll tell you guys how I fixed it, how I got rid of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tank. I'm going to give you guys about a 30-second just constant shot so everyone can take a look at what's going on, and then I'll come in and tell you guys really what I've changed. There's been a lot of changes here over the last month, a lot of positive changes. I've noticed some really positive response from the plants, the fish, and just the overall tank is really looking good. So let's take a look at the tank, and then we'll go over what's been changed and what's been added. Alright, so as you guys can see, there's been a lot of changes here. The first notable change you may have noticed is the lighting system. I do now have a incandescent style hood. I have two compact fluorescent bulbs in there, daylight, 6500 Kelvin. So they're both putting off a good amount of light, and the plants seem to have responded really well to them. The wisteria has officially touched the top of the tank, and it's just spreading out now. You guys may have noticed that there's some floating plants here. Let me talk about these real quick. So these are actually water spangles. I got these a couple weeks ago. I stuck them in the tank. They seem to be doing okay. I may have to move them away from the bubbler because it keeps flipping them over, and then they end up roots up and they can't gain the light properly. So for the most part, they're doing alright though. I actually used a method I saw in another YouTube video where I have two straws here, one inside the other, and they're extended to create kind of a barrier at the top of the tank so that these don't go flying all over the place. It's actually coming loose though, so I need to fix that. But yeah, it seems to work pretty well. These plants all had a really thick coating of brown algae. You can see the remnants of it right there on the Amazon sword. You can also tell we lost a few plants. Specifically, the S. repens did not do so well. I think it may have had something to do with the lighting. A lot of them died. Unfortunately, there's nothing I could really do about that. The ones that are there are doing okay. I'll kind of keep watching them. As you can see, some of them still have the brown algae on it. The compacta kept getting uprooted by the snails, so I think I've gotten it to the point now where it's staying rooted, and now that the lighting's stronger, it seems to be holding stronger and holding better than it did before. But I am noticing new growth on the compacta that I do have left in the tank there. So I think that's a positive. Overall, I've noticed everything's really spruced up and really grown pretty exponentially over the last couple weeks since I added the new lighting system. In this tank right now, I'm running Flourish tabs, and I'm running Flourish Excel. I dose it once a week, maybe a couple times a week, depending upon what I'm feeling. I don't dose it daily. I was doing it daily for a while, and then I started having the algae buildup, so I laid off the dosing a little bit. And the secret to what got rid of the algae was actually the Seachem Phosguard. If you guys look here, you can see that white packet right there. That's Seachem Phosguard. It came in its own mesh bag already. You just rinse it out a few times and stick it there in the filter. What that does is it filters out the phosphates in the water, which the diatoms feed on. So over the past week, I just noticed that slowly the brown algae started disappearing, and so my thought process is that it was in fact the phosphate levels in the tank that were too high. And that would make sense because I actually fill this with water that I get from a local well, and I imagine that the local well might be high in some minerals. So filtering out the phosphate levels seems to have done the trick, and I'm pretty happy with the results. So that's the secret, guys. Seachem Phosguard. I've seen a lot of different opinions on whether or not you should treat your tank for phosphates, and in some instances it's probably not a great idea. I'm really new to the tanking hobby, so as I've learned and researched, I've made some changes to my tanks, and I've made some decisions based on what I've read. In this scenario, I think it was easier for me to go out and buy the $6 packet of Phosguard and give it a week to see if it works, rather than going out and buying all the testing supplies to test my phosphate levels and everything like that. So I basically took a calculated gamble based on the fact I knew I was taking it from well water, and I knew that the well water was going to be high in minerals and that phosphates was more than likely the cause. So that was the reason I jumped straight to the Phosguard. I'm not saying don't test your tanks for your phosphate levels. I'm just saying sometimes you know it's phosphate and you can act accordingly, and it's usually a lot cheaper to just go out and buy the little $6.50 packet of Phosguard and stick it in your filter than it is to go out and buy all the testing strips or the testing kit to test for phosphate. So that was the secret. I really appreciate you guys taking a look at this tank. I've really loved watching this tank grow over the last couple months. It's September, late September now, so in a week or so this tank's going to be 3 months old, which is awesome. 3 months goes by really fast, and I think overall the tank's really awesome. It's really where I want it to be, and the only thing if I could change that would be to get rid of the goldfish and have him in his own tank. I feel like sometimes having him in there is a little bit of torture, but the water levels are super good. I test the water level consistently, and there's no ammonia, no nitrite in there, and the nitrite levels are staying low. The pH is perfect. So overall, I think he's okay for now. And maybe in a later video we'll move to a big tank and we'll do some sort of skate project together, and we can do that, and that could be fun. So. Alright guys, well I want to thank you for checking out this latest update on the Planet Tank. I'll probably do another update here in about 3 to 4 weeks to see where everything is. I don't plan on doing any new tanks until next year, so I don't think we'll be doing any new tanks until next year, but I will probably be doing a separate entry sometime soon on the downstairs Planet Tank. And we actually are in the middle of a diatom bloom in that tank, so maybe you guys can follow along in the process as we try to fix that one. And we may take a different approach and see what kind of results we can get. Right now we haven't used the Phosguard. We've just been scraping it and giving it time, so we're going to see how that approach works, and then, you know, maybe in the future we'll alter the approach to how we work up here. Other than that, guys, like as always, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, make sure to give it a like. If you have any comments or have any questions, make sure to comment down below. As always, I encourage you to subscribe to follow along for more content, and we will see you soon.